Hey gang, it's JC, and this is your daily dose for Tuesday, November 9th, 2010, a cooperative venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. Archives top of the page, eye candy along the bottom strip here, Dave's weather forecast, the audio on iTunes, and don't forget you can get us on your mobile phones now. And of course, we are on the Big 550 KTRS every day, starting at 10 in the morning, going until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We stream at ktrs.com, also highlights of the shows are usually posted within an hour or so after the show. And basically, there's all sorts of ways you can get us, including the app on your smartphone, TuneIn Radio. What else we got? Oh, I'm going to South Pacific tonight. I'm so excited about this. You know, there's a couple of musicals that I really like. I like Bye Bye Birdie. I like The Music Man. And I especially like South Pacific. The show has a lot of sentimental value. When I was a senior in high school, I went to an all-boys Catholic high school, and we had an all-girls Catholic high school directly across the street, and they had like a demilitarized zone separating us. But the one time a year where we actually had girls in the school in sort of a casual atmosphere was during play practice, which, I guess they call it rehearsal. And that was every spring. Now, I was on the baseball team, so I was out on the athletic fields while they were doing rehearsals for the plays in the gymnasium up on the stage there. And my girlfriend at the time was in the musical South Pacific, which was put on my senior year. And so I would sort of see her in that casual atmosphere, which for us was very, very cool, given the fact that we were used to having only guys in the place all the time. And it was a good show. They actually did a pretty nice job. And to this day, Channel 9 ran a live from Lincoln Center performance of South Pacific about 3 months ago. And they did a really nice job. And I still remembered that my girlfriend, Sue, had one line in the play, and that was hot water. And when the girl who was in that Channel 9 performance from Lincoln Center said that line, hot water, man, it all just sort of came back. So I love the songs. And it's great, too, because, it's not one of these wimpy musicals where if you're a guy and you're a guy's guy, you're sitting there looking around going, what the hell am I doing here? This is a sort of show where you actually have a lot of fun because it's about, blowing stuff up and the war and guys playing grab ass with the girls on the island in the South Pacific. And it's very exotic and everything. And there's people getting laid. And so there's a lot of cool stuff in it if you're a guy's guy. So it's running at the Fox Theater for a couple of weeks, and the first show is tonight. We will be there for opening night. We're going to have some people from South Pacific on the show on Wednesday afternoon in the 12 o'clock hour, and I'm sort of looking forward to that. So South Pacific tonight begins at the Fox Theater. Sort of a shocker in the sports entertainment world today, ESPN has announced that after years, and you have to look it up and see how many years, but John Miller and Joe Morgan are being dumped as the play-by-play team on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. I'm sniffing out a youth movement here. Also, we say goodbye officially to Mr. Goodwrench. GM has announced that they're going to go with more targeted and specific brand names targeted at servicing the vehicles depending on that particular brand, like Chevy or whatever it is, under the umbrella of General Motors. So goodbye, Mr. Goodwrench. We had sort of a bittersweet afternoon yesterday, those of us in the St. Louis Film Critics Association, because they had a screening of George Hickenlooper's movie called Casino Jack. Now, first of all, let me tell you about George. You probably heard a little bit about this last week because George Hickenlooper, from the St. Louis area, and been on the show many times, and I consider George a pal, as a matter of fact. And so he was making all these movies, Hearts of Darkness, which was basically a documentary about the making of Apocalypse Now, and he's done some other movies too, and it was really sort of beginning to make his mark in Hollywood. So he directs this movie called Casino Jack with Kevin Spacey, who, by the way, probably ought to get an Academy Award nomination for his portrayal, and I'll tell you of who here in a minute. Also, Barry Pepper, who was the guy who played Roger Maris in that HBO production directed by Billy Crystal called 61 a couple of years ago. They were just running that the other day. Also, John Lovitz is in this movie, and also Kelly Preston, John Travolta's wife, who gives a really, really good performance in this, because up until now I'd probably have to say that her role in Jerry Maguire was the best thing she ever did. And this is maybe not that good, but it's actually pretty close. This movie, Casino Jack, maybe not a masterpiece, but close. Really, really close. This is a movie about lobbyist and convicted felon Jack Abramoff, and that name should mean something to you if you follow the news or politics. And George directed this movie, was putting the finishing touches on it, getting ready to debut it at the St. Louis International Film Festival, and getting ready, I think, maybe to look at some Oscar nominations. And George checked out at the age of only 47 last week, and it came as just such a shocker. And I will also say that this movie, while very good, also was a very, very labor-intensive movie to make. You know, he wasn't just interested in having some actors move around on the screen. This was an extremely, extremely difficult movie to produce and direct the way he chose to do it. Very labor intensive. So when George's name came up on the screen at the end of the movie yesterday afternoon, it was very, very bittersweet, very triumphant in that it's a great movie, and very sad in a way in that George is not going to be here to collect the accolades. And, you know, a husband and a father at the age of only 47. But I want you to make a mental note. I don't know when it's going to open here in St. Louis. As soon as I find that out, I'll pass it along to you. But if you want to see a really, really good movie with some really good actors giving really good performances and a St. Louis connection, look for the title Casino Jack. It's also an incredible lesson in government, which is why it's just laughable that the Tea Party people are jumping around all over the place saying they're going to take the country back. They're not going to take shit back. You know why? Because there's very little to take back, number one. And number two, it's not how things work. And this is actually a pretty good depiction of the way government really does work and the way lobbyists pretty much control almost every aspect of our lives. So again, Casino Jack opening soon at a theater near you, and as soon as we have some more information, we will pass it along to you. All right, by the time you see this, we will already have had Bill Carter from the New York Times on the air with us. He has written a new book about the big war between Leno and Letterman and Conan, and that book is out now, and we're going to have Bill on the air on today's show. And again, if you go to ktrs.com, you'll be able to hear the segments that we put on the air today, and then they put those things up later on in the afternoon. But some of the stuff that is already jumping off the pages from this new book is just unbelievable. I mean, people hiding under desks, people beating up their own offices with self-loathe because of the way things are going and how the eyes of the entertainment world are on them and things aren't going the way they want. And this Leno, Letterman, Conan thing is just absolutely unbelievable. Conan would lay in his bed and just say, "What the F happened to his wife?" So something you can watch for. So again, Bill Carter and the highlights will be on ktrs.com by the time you are watching this. If you're watching this after about 2 or 3 o'clock today. Tomorrow we have the girls in, Gina Curry, Laura Marshall, and Victoria Babu. That's in the 11 o'clock hour as the Carousel of co-hosts continues to spin. Also on Wednesday's show on KTRS, we're going to have Harry Shearer, who has directed a movie about the Hurricane Katrina tragedy. We're going to have Aaron Bodie performing in the studio with us on Thursday, and then on Friday, if everything goes right, I'm pretty sure that Friday is the day we're going to have Danny Seraphin on the air. Danny Seraphin was one of the founding members of the band Chicago and played with them for 20 years. He was the drummer. And then they had some new guys in the band, and they didn't like the idea of a drummer running a band. You know, and you say to yourself, okay, well, Mick Fleetwood seems to be able to have done it pretty good, and so is Phil Collins. But anyhow, after 20 years, being a founding member of the band, after 20 years, they basically dump him. They vote him out. And so what do you do when that happens? You sit and think about it for 20 years, and then you write a book, and that book is coming out now. And so Danny Seraphin from the rock and roll band Chicago. We're hoping to have Billy Bob Thornton on the air next week. Also, our pal Dr. Kathy Naughton, the director of the Center for Sexual Health. We've had her on the air many times, and also we're making arrangements now to try to get Tim Meadows, formerly of Saturday Night Live, on the air with us next week too. So things are popping like crazy. I was trying to think, there were some other things. I just wanted to make sure that I haven't forgotten anything, because it's Conan, and we're going to be talking about that. The Joe Jackson, Katherine Jackson interview with Oprah. You know, Michael Jackson's mother basically says that she had no idea who Lisa Marie Presley was, and had no idea that her son was going to marry her until they announced it. It's crazy. Robert Downey Jr., his incredible comeback has reached a new high. He's just been chosen by the Planters people to be the new voice of Mr. Peanut. And you have to sort of wonder what the hell's going on there. That's all I can tell you. Oh, and by the way, if you have an elderly woman, like a grandmother or an aunt or something like that, who is very, very difficult to buy things for when it comes to Christmas time or birthdays or something like that, but we got the holidays coming up, I got the perfect gift for you. You are off the hook. A 21-disc DVD set, assuming grandma or your aunt knows how to run a DVD player, and I understand that too. Anyhow, the Golden Girls ran for 7 seasons, and the Golden Girls 25th Anniversary Complete Collection is available starting today. Again, a 21-disc DVD set of the Golden Girls, and you are off the hook for grandma or your elderly aunt or whatever the case may be. So go at it, okay? Our Video Village this week goes back to an interview we did with Albert Brooks for his movie Defending Your Life back in 1991. Albert, of course, the brother of Super Dave Osborne. It made me think of that. The Wayback Machine goes back to the early 90s with a Slyman Brothers TV commercial. I haven't seen one of those in a long time. JC's Eye Candy. God, am I glad I have girls. These clowns, these teenage boys, put a nail polish remover on this kid's hair and then set his head on fire. He had to put his head in the toilet to put it out. It's lucky that this kid isn't, I put it up there just to let you know that this is what teenage boys left to their own devices are capable of. I think if I had a teenage boy, I don't think I would let him out of my sight ever. I think I'd just go to school with him and just enroll in the school and sit in the back row and just follow him around, because teenage boys, especially now, left to their own devices, well, this is what they're capable of. Check it out on JC's Eye Candy. I'm telling you, it's disturbing. I mean, some people will laugh, I'm sure. It's not intended to be funny. I'm serious. This is like just to let you know what you got to watch out for. They almost set this kid on fire. They did set him on fire. Oh, and on that note, we say that is the Daily Dose for Tuesday, November 9th, 2010, a cooperative venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. In the meantime, we've beaten this one to death. Have a good one. See you later. Bye.